morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Game 1 versus the Tigers at home in Houston. I'm a few minutes behind. Had to take care of a couple of things this morning, and I'm still finishing up the last couple of bites of a light breakfast. Blanco's already on the mound, about to face the first batter, Kerry Carpenter. So we'll jump into this really quickly. We'll get to the Astros lineup in the bottom of the first. But right now, the left-handed batter, Kerry Carpenter, is at the plate, facing Blanco for the first pitch. Already have a little bit of connection issue. Let's refresh that. The count is 0-1. Apparently I missed a strike there. And I need to update my scoreboard. You've probably noticed that the scoreboard is incorrect. Give me just a moment and I'll get to that. I apologize for the delay there. I'm trying to get the scoreboard updated on the screen so that it reflects the proper game. And it should be on there right now. There we go. Now let's get back to the MLB screen, which is a little behind. Have to refresh that. Kerry Carpenter with a full count hits a rocket down the first baseline. Christian Walker dives, gets it, tosses it to Blanco for out number 1. 1 away here in the top of the first. 1 second, I'm going to reposition my Wi-Fi. The MLB TV feed keeps going to commercial, which is not good. 1 ball, 1 strike to Gleyber Torres. Next pitch is a little outside for ball 2. 2-1 is the count. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Here's the pitch to Torres. Fouls that one off. Count is now 2-2. Greetings from Poland. Hey Glenn, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Also Daniel. Wow. Blanco just threw a slider right in the bottom of the zone, clearly a strike, called ball 3, so it's another full count. Here's the pitch. And we have another MLB pause on the game. Fly ball to left field, put away by apparently Altuve. Out number 2. Didn't get to see that one. I apologize for the minor technical issues with the live stream. Here comes the first pitch to Colt Keith. A little high and outside. 78 miles per hour, ball one. 2 outs, no runners on, no hits. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Just a little high and outside again. 93 miles an hour. 2-0 is the count now. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. This one's hit really high in the sky out in right field. Looks like Cam Smith is underneath it. He camps out and puts it away for out number 3. 3 up and 3 down. Took about 16 pitches to get through that inning. A little high, but no damage done, no hits. We'll go into the bottom of the first with the Astros due up in just a moment. Whether you're surprised about it or not, Jose Altuve is not leading off. He's in the second position today. Jeremy Pena will stay in the opening slot. Jordan batting third in the DH slot. Paredes batting fourth at third base, followed by Christian Walker at first. Yainer Diaz batting sixth, who will be catching today. Cam Smith out in right field. Dubon at second base. And McCormick in center field. So DeCenzo getting a break today, as well as Myers. And I was able to finish up my last couple of bites of food. Okay. Glenn says, do I remember correctly that you are in Japan? Glenn, you are correct, sir. I am in Japan. Currently, I am not in my home. I took a little trip to a city called Kagoshima, which is in the extreme southwest area of Japan. And I'll be here just for a couple more days before heading back towards Hiroshima, where my house is. I was studying Japanese at a language school full-time, and I finished that up over a month ago. So now I'm focused on other things. Here comes the first pitch from Flaherty. Pena fouls it down the third baseline. Nice rip, but bouncer foul. Strike one. Still trying to get my subscribers up to over 300. Next pitch is low, 92 mile per hour sinker, and the count is even 1-1. Here comes a pitch. Jeremy Pena hits that one at third base. He fires over to first, gets him by about a step. Good play by Young to make that solid throw, catch and throw. So Pena grounds out and Altuve comes up to bat. I heard that he has less than 10 at-bats starting in a slot that is not the number one. Last 3 games he's been in a bit of a slump, just 1 hit. Here comes the first pitch to Altuve. He goes after it. It's a slider, low, swing and a miss. Here comes the pitch. He bunts it straight up to middle, and it's a perfect bunt. Did he get there? They say he's out. It was such a short bunt right up the middle. The catcher had to come out to grab it. They're going to take a look at it to see if maybe he's safe. Man, that ball just went a few feet past the dirt. It's close. They're going to take another look at it here to see if they want to challenge. Altuve with the surprise bunt. He takes the swing on the first pitch. On the second one, lays down the perfect surprise bunt. The call's overturned. He's safe. Altuve lays down the bunt, and he beats it by a split second. How do you like that? Altuve with a hit, and he does it with a surprise bunt. What a great hit by Altuve to get himself on base. Just barely beat that throw. Couldn't have been closer. Yordan Alvarez comes to the plate with one runner on. He hits out and right down the line, just foul. First baseman was right there on it. He's riding the line. But that ball, just a little outside. Strike one. I have to reload the screen again. Connection to the MLB site just not working very well today. For some reason. I'd like to see the next pitch to Yordan. It's a ball, 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike to Yordan Alvarez. He had a great game yesterday. Here's the pitch. Fouled away. That was a little above the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is interesting. Yeah, it can be. Sometimes things are interesting. Here comes a pitch in the dirt. Altuve stealing the ball, was in the dirt and had to be picked up by the catcher. But he actually still got there in time, and he threw out Altuve, so Altuve's gunned down at first. That was unfortunate. Yeah, Altuve was thrown out by a mile. 2 outs. Alvarez fouls that one off into the stands behind the dugout on the third base side. 2 away, no runners on. So Altuve gets on base with the bunt, but then gets thrown out at second. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Yordan. And here comes the pitch. Just a little inside. Full count. Here comes a pitch from Flaherty. That one's grounded right up the middle, backhanded by the second baseman, who throws over at first base, and they say they get him. It's very close. It looked like a sure hit for Alvarez, but with the amazing backhanded catch, he's able to grab it and just barely throw Yordan out at first base. Really good play there. Can't deny that. Out number 3. That's it for the first inning. We go into the top of the second. Astros with 1 hit, no runs. Detroit with no hits, no runs. Got about 5 people tuned in so far. That's not bad this early in the game. I appreciate you being here. Oh, I have the wrong logo on the screen. I still have the Royals logo on the screen. I need to change that. That's definitely wrong. Definitely wrong. There we go. Now I've got the right logo. Boom. There are several elements on my screen that I have to change whenever they play a different team. And I forget some of those sometimes. I'm glad that I actually caught it myself before one of you guys pointed it out to me. But it's all good. We got 5 likes on the stream. Thank you for that. Minimal goal for the day is 10. And optimal goal is 20. Dream goal for this stream is 30. 10, 20, 30. As soon as we get back to the game, the commercials ran just fine, but as soon as we get back to the game, we start having issues again. I keep getting the event about to start screen from the MLB website. 1 ball, 1 strike apparently to Riley Green. Missed the first couple of pitches. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Riley Green. Riley Green, the left-handed batter. Here comes the pitch. This one's hit hard to right center. Cam Smith comes in and he grabs it. Good catch by Cam Smith. 1 away. I've got a guy working on an avatar for me. I think I'm going to swap my image for an avatar on the screen just to make this a little more interesting. Here comes the first pitch to the next batter. Spencer Torkelson fouled off at the plate for strike 1. A little bit of a fastball from Blanco. 0-1 is the count. 20th pitch for Blanco. Here comes the next one. In the dirt. 81 mile per hour changeup. Or curveball, actually. 1-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. Torkelson swings at that one, fouls it off. 86 mile per hour slider goes back into the stands. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Glenn, how are things in Poland, man? I've been hearing some pretty good things about Poland in the past few months. 81 miles per hour curve misses outside and low for ball 2, and that evens the count. Astros wearing the City Connect 2.0 uniforms. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Blanco. Low and away on that slider. Good pitch. 2 outs. I don't mind the City Connect home jerseys. I think they look just fine. They're not amazingly special or anything, but I think they're fine. The only thing I don't like is the hat. I don't like the design on the hat. J.C. Young is at the plate. He takes the first pitch right in there for strike 1. Here comes the next pitch from Blanco. Curveball just barely missed. That was on the outside lower edge, but the umpire laid off. Tight zone right now. 1-1 is the count. The reason I don't like the A on the Astros hat is because it reminds me of the Diamondbacks logo. Too similar. Popped in the air. Diaz gets out there and underneath it, and he's got it. That'll be out number 3. 3 up and 3 down in that inning also. 28 total pitches for Blanco, averaging 14 per inning at the moment. Gives up no runs. No hits. We'll go into the bottom of the second. The Astros with 1 hit so far in this game, with the opportunity now to get some more. Isaac Paredes is due up, batting in the fourth slot, followed by Christian Walker, and then Yainer Diaz. Christian Walker has moved his average up just a little bit to 189. He isn't over 200 right now, but he's close. Diaz has a little more work to do. He's batting 169. These are the only two guys in the lineup batting under 200. Overall, this is what you call a subpar lineup. Even Altuve has slipped a lot. He's batting 280. He was batting high 300s for a while, and then he was consistently keeping his batting average over 300, and now it has slipped all the way down to 280. He's still leading the team right now. McCormick is batting 318, but his sample size is very low, so we can't really compare him to Altuve. Glenn says it's 2:30 a.m. here, and I'm dozing off, but this is very enjoyable. I will talk to you another time about Poland and stuff like that. Man, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, some of the games are earlier, and for me, they start around 3 or 4 in the morning, so if you're available for one of those, that's great. But feel free to leave comments, and I'm more than happy to hear your take. I've been wanting to talk with some locals there and see what they think about some things that are going on. It'd be interesting to hear, but hope you have a good night. Thank you for being here. Flaherty is back on the mound. His first pitch to Yainer Diaz comes in quick and hot. I'm sorry, Isaac Paredes, not Diaz. And it's 0-1. The next pitch is right in the middle of the zone, 93 miles an hour. Strike 2. Isaac Paredes takes 2 strikes back to back. That's interesting. All of Paredes' home runs are at home. Here comes the next pitch. Flaherty pulls that one low and outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes a 1-2. Low and outside. 2 balls, 2 straight pitches low and outside after 2 straight strikes. Flaherty trying to work it around and get that swing, but Paredes is showing some patience. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That one's in the bottom of the zone and fouled away. Count remains 2-2. Still got some daylight outside of Daikin Stadium, Daikin Park. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Line drive into left field. That'll be a single for Isaac Paredes, who Isaacs the ball out into left field. Beautiful looking liner. 2 hits for the Astros now. A bunt single in the first and a line drive in the second. A high fastball. All right. Leadoff base runner, Christian Walker at the plate, fouls that one off. It almost had an 84, but it's a 94 mile per hour fastball. $20 pitches now for Flaherty. Here comes the 21st. Little low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes a 1-1 delivery. Swing and a miss. Another one low and a little outside, but right in the corner. Walker went after it and couldn't get his bat on it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2. Fouled off right in the zone. 94 mile per hour fastball. Crowd seems decent in Daikin Park. They're just a little quiet right now. That's hit up the middle, broken bat. They're going to try to turn 2. Are they going to be able to get it? And they do, and Christian Walker goes down. He took a strange dive towards the bag to try to get his foot on, and he trips and falls. They're going to come check on him, but he seems okay. He was pretty close there, but he just barely got thrown out, looks like. Yeah, he just barely got thrown out, and his foot tripped on the bag. 2 away, no runners on now for Yainer Diaz. Diaz takes the first pitch for ball 1. Just like the first inning. We got a base runner on a hit, and then he got out. Here comes the second pitch to Diaz. He bounces that one down the third baseline and foul. 1-1. One hit in the 3-game series versus the Royals for Yainer Diaz, and that was a home run to the opposite field. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. A little outside, but it caught the edge of the plate. Strike 2. 95-mile-per-hour cruiser. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Way outside and low, and that will even the count 2-2. Kind of a slow game going, but the Astros do have a couple of hits on the board. Not able to keep the runners on the base, though. Altuve getting thrown out in the first, and then the double play just now. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Yainer. He fouls that one off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count remains. Here comes the 2-2 pitch, the 30th of the game for Flaherty. Foul tip caught by the catcher, and that's out number 3. That'll do it for the Astros in this inning. And we are done with the second inning. We're going to go to the top of the third. This game tied up goose eggs. I feel like I've seen that too much. 0-0, 0-0. The past several games. All of the Royals games, and then this one. Too many low-scoring affairs, not enough hitting and scoring. Thankfully, the Astros woke up yesterday and started getting hits and getting runs on the board. Had a couple of big bombs, especially the one by Jordan. 436 feet, if you guys didn't know that. 436 feet to center field. Yesterday's home run by Jordan Alvarez, and that came after his double off the center field wall. He was crushing it yesterday. Hopefully he will be able to continue that for now and the rest of the season. Maybe he has shaken the rust off. Seeing 1 hit from Jordan is good, but seeing 2 hits in the same game that were essentially both powerful is a good sign. Good sign. Blanco will be back up on the mound in just a moment. He's at 27 pitches. He'll be facing Trey Sweeney, followed by Dylan Dingler and Javier Baez. Or Baez. Baez? Maybe. Got about half a dozen following along right now, another modest amount, but I appreciate being here. Got 9 likes on the stream, 1 more to meet my minimal target, 11 more to get to my main goal. $21 more to get to my dream goal for this stream. All right, looks like we're ready to go. Sweeney is in the box, and here's the pitch from Blanco. 78 miles an hour right in the middle of the zone with that curveball, strike 1. Sweeney batting .210 for this season. Here comes the pitch. Low and inside for ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the 1-1. Couple inches outside on that curveball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the 31st pitch of the game for Blanco. Ooh, very close, but just misses in the lower part of the zone. 94-mile-per-hour fastball. 3 balls and 1 strike to Sweeney. Here comes the next pitch. This one's grounded to first. Christian Walker grabs it and tosses it to Blanco, but they say it's foul. It looked like it landed right on the line. That's strange. It really did look like a fair ball. It looked like it bounced on the line, but they called it foul. So we have a full count, 3-2. Three balls and 2 strikes to Sweeney. Here comes the pitch. That's in the dirt. Not competitive at all, and he will be on first base with no outs. That pitch obviously not coming out of Blanco's hand where he wanted it. Here comes the pitch to the next batter, Dylan Dingler. He takes a whiff at it. Catches nothing but air for strike 1. Unable to connect with the 85-mile-an-hour slider. Dingler steps out of the box, calls for time. Now he's back in. Blanco gets the call and comes set. Here's the pitch. Ooh, that should have been a strike. Up and in. 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Called ball 1 by the ump. The count's 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good pitch on the lower outside edge. Or I could even say lower outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Another low and away, but this time he went after it. 86-mile-an-hour slider. Blanco has his second strikeout of the game. Nice looking pitch. Javier Baez comes to the plate facing Blanco. Here's the first pitch. Just a little inside. Couldn't have missed more than an inch off of that edge of the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, Blanco goes to first. Almost throws him out. Pretty good toss there. Javier back in the box. Blanco's back up on the rubber. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice slider. Another one on the outside edge. The same one that struck out the last batter. It counts even. th pitch of the game coming up for Blanco. Low and away, fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. Tobias, here comes the pitch. Way high and outside. And that evens the count 2-2. It's kind of sad to see them talking about all the things they're giving away, all these nights that they're having at Daikin Park. All the things they're giving away, the Altuve bobbleheads and all that. This one's ripped to left field, all the way down to the stands, just maybe about 15 feet foul. A hard rip. Count remains 2-2. But of course, Daikin Park is so far away from where I'm at. There's no way I can just go to one of those games. It'd be cool to live stream from the game itself. That would be wonderful. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Baez. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Beautiful curveball way out of the zone. 2 away. Runner stays on first. First pitch to Kerry Carpenter is on the way. Almost 2 feet out of the zone on that fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Change up right in the zone. 0-2 is the count. I'm sorry, 1-1 is the count. What am I thinking here? Changing the stats to the wrong count. 1-1. Carpenter is wearing my old number from high school, 30. Here comes a 1-1 pitch from Blanco. Right in the zone on that slider. He fouls it off for strike 2. One strike away from ending the top of the third. Here comes, nope, not a pitch. He goes over to first base. Runner is back. One ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Way high. Yiner gets up, walks out, tells him to calm down. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the second. Lots of 2s. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. High and outside. Ball 3. We have a full count. So Blanco is just 1 strike away from getting out of this inning, and now he has a full count to work with a runner on first. Let's hope he doesn't extend the inning here. He's already up to 48 pitches. This next one will be the 49th. Here comes the pitch. This is hit hard into left field. Altuve's back to the wall, and that's gone. No, it's off the top of that big wall. But yeah, it is. I was right. Okay, it's a home run. Right over the wall. So the Tigers are up 2-0. I called that correctly. That's interesting. I got the call correctly, and the Astros commentators got it wrong. 3-2 pitch. Just right in the top of the zone. Carpenter hit it to left center field, just above the railing on that yellow line. It bounced back into play, and they thought it was a double. That was clearly out. First hit for the Tigers, and it puts them up 2-0. Diaz goes out to the mound to have a visit with Blanco. This next pitch is going to be Blanco's 50th of the game. His pitch count is way too high. But I think that's been a regular issue recently with Blanco. It's kind of a far cry from where he was last year at his peak when he was pitching complete games. Tossing more than 50 pitches in 3 innings is way too high. Gleyber Torres is at the plate. He takes that pitch. Well, he actually swings at it for strike one. 88 mile per hour slider. 0-1. He flew out his last at bat, and it looks like he's going to do it again right here, but he hits it really deep to center field, all the way to the warning track, the edge of the warning track. Chas McCormick puts it away. Finally out number 3, but Blanco just allows one of the batters to stick around long enough to get a home run off of him. Astros are down 2-0 going into the bottom of the 3rd. Cam Smith is due up, followed by Mauricio Dubon and then Chas McCormick, the last 3 batters in this Astros lineup today. Flaherty back on the mound in just a moment. He is sitting at 30 pitches at the start of this inning. He is 20 pitches behind Blanco. Even if he pitches 15 this inning, he'll still be 5 behind Blanco. Still a little high. I think 15 pitches per innings is too high. You can't get to 9 innings averaging 15 pitches per inning. That's just a little too much. For those of you who are following along for the first time, thanks for being here. I appreciate your likes on the channel. We did get to 10 on the live stream likes, and that's my minimal goal. Thank you very much. If you haven't liked it, please do so now. I would very much appreciate getting it to 20 before the end of the game. The more likes, the more exposure it gets, and the more exposure, the more the channel grows, and the more successful it becomes, and the more I can do. There's a lot of other stuff that I would like to do with the channel, but until the channel grows, I'm not able to commit to that. We'll just have to see how it turns out. There's some very interesting footage. In the Astrodome, they put a gondola in the middle of the Astrodome, take it all the way to the top, and one of the guys calls the game from up there. That's pretty crazy. Wow, Cam Smith comes to the plate, and he hits it all the way out to the wall. In the very first pitch, he's got himself a leadoff double with the very first swing of the bottom of the 3rd. How do you like that for energy? Just come out and rip it all the way out to the left field wall. A solid line drive. Flaherty's slider right in the middle of the plate, 83 miles an hour, and about 3 feet fair, all the way down to the wall in a hurry. Cam Smith on second base with a lead-off runner in scoring position, the 3rd hit of the game. Mauricio Dubon is at the plate. Dubon pokes it out into right field, but no, it's caught by the first baseman. Man, that was close. Dubon went opposite field with that line drive. It looked like it was going to be through for a hit. Caught by the first baseman. How close was that? Good catch by the first baseman. Man. Good job by Cam Smith not getting too far off the bag so that the Astros didn't get doubled up. One away. Chas McCormick with a lucky stash comes to the plate. What I'll call the big bopper stash, a throwback to Glenn Davis. That was a little outside on the knuckle curve. Ball 1, good take. That would have been an RBI for Dubon for sure. McCormick batting .318 right now, and he's 4 for 6 in the last couple of games. Recency bias. Here comes the pitch. Fouled off of the plate. Strike one. The count is even. 1 ball, 1 strike. McCormick takes a little time out and strolls around outside the box. Oh, up to a dozen now watching and listening in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Flaherty is up to 35 pitches with this next delivery. Here comes the pitch to McCormick. 1-1 delivery. Fouled back right in the zone on that fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It was hilarious how McCormick gets those hits yesterday. And when he's on base, he's stroking the mustache, obviously using it for luck. Pretty funny. 1-2. Here's the pitch. McCormick muscles that one opposite field, but it flies off into the stands. The count remains 1-2. Three hits for the Astros, no runs yet. 1 hit, 1 big hit for the Tigers. 2-0 on that 2-run shot. 1 out, 1 runner on second. Here's the pitch to McCormick in the dirt, blocked by the catcher. Cam Smith walks back to second. The count is even for McCormick, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Chaz. Chazmanian Devil. Here comes the pitch. Way outside and low. Good take. Now we have a full count. Maybe Chaz can hit a 2-run shot right here and tie it up in a similar situation. Everybody would love to see that, especially for this guy. Here comes the 3-2 pitch from Flaherty. Curve right in the zone. McCormick swung at it, and he missed it. He knew that he missed an opportunity there too. 2 strikeouts for Flaherty, and he is up to 40 pitches with his next delivery to Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena goes after the knuckle curve, low and away. Terrible pitch to be swinging at. Strike 1. Pena only batting .217 with runners in scoring position, but the last game he was all over it. Way inside, almost got hit on the waist. Ball 1. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Smith still on second base, looking to be moved around. Pena takes that one. Low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Altuve on deck. Let's see if he gets an opportunity to do something. Here comes the 2-1 pitch to Pena. Check swing, did he go? They say he did. I was kind of expecting that. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another knuckle curve way off the plate and low. Garbage pitch. Pena couldn't hold up. Pena is so weak on those pitches. At least he has been historically weak on those pitches. Time called as Pena steps out of the box to adjust his gloves. And now he's back in and ready to go. Flaherty looks for the call. He's got it real quick. Here comes the delivery. That is a fastball outside. Pena doesn't go. Good take. We have another full count. Crowd lethargically starts to cheer, looking for something to happen here. They haven't been making much noise since that Cam Smith hit. And Pena goes down striking. He knew it was a strike. Absolutely nothing doing for the Astros there other than that double by Smith. Pena goes down looking. Didn't even try to swing the bat, just took it and walked to the dugout. So that's it for the third inning. We're going to go into the top of the fourth. Astros down 2-0, despite leading in hits 3-1. Blanco will be back up in just a moment. 51 pitches for him right now. He'll be facing Colt Keith momentarily. We see. Okay. I think I'm going to need another cup of coffee here in just a moment. If you guys have an opportunity, feel free to let me know where you're at. It seems I've got some returning listeners from various places all over this great big earth. Glenn, as you see in the chat, said he's from Poland. I have one listener from Philippines. I have listeners in Louisiana, which is where I spent most of my life growing up. I was born in North Louisiana, and then when I was just a baby, we moved to Houston. Lived there for about 7 years, and that's why I became the big Houston fan that I am. We moved back to Louisiana because of all of the steel jobs being shut down and sent over to China. My dad wasn't able to adjust. He just stayed stuck in this mode of, I'm a steel worker. You know, that was what he tried to do, but those jobs kept disappearing. And he never really adjusted to that. He did try to do his own business, which is fine, but it was inconsistent because he had to do all of the marketing as well. He had to get out and hoof it to try to find the work. First pitch is in there for a strike to Colt Keith. The second one is also a strike, 93 miles an hour in the lower part of the zone, 0-2 quickly. Blanco jumping out in front of Keith, and Keith wants a timeout to rethink his life. But I've lived in a few places. Also lived in North Carolina for a little over a year. Swing and a miss. Blanco gets a strikeout on 3 straight pitches. Man, 81 mile per hour curveball in the bottom part of the zone, actually below the zone. Out number 1. That's efficient right there. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Keith's look on his face, he looked scared when he swung the bat there. Riley Green is at the plate, the lefty. Swing and a miss. 83 mile per hour changeup. That's 4 straight strikes for Blanco. He's all serious right now. Riley Green lined out on his last at bat. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. He swings again, and this is sky high, way out in center field. Altuve is back in the corner. Is that gone? It's right next to the wall. That one barely went into the Crawford boxes. And that's going to be home run number 2. 3-0 Tigers. Man. Altuve was right there. If you guys know the way the field works in left field, left center field, the Crawford boxes have kind of a wall on the right side, and Altuve was right up in there waiting for that ball to come down. But unfortunately, it went into the Crawford boxes. 3-0 Tigers. 79 mile per hour pitch on the outside edge. Could have been a ball, called strike by the umpire. Spencer Torkelson at the plate. Altuve looked so disappointed after that. Strike 2 in almost the same spot. 0-2. Man, Blanco came out through 4 straight balls and then another home run. Crazy. 3-0. But he goes right back to throwing strikes. 0-2 against Torkelson. Here comes a pitch. Swing and a miss. Got another strikeout. So holy cow, Blanco has been throwing nothing but strikes. He throws 3 strikes, gets the strikeout, throws more strikes, then a home run, and then 3 more strikes to get the strikeout. What a strange inning. Astros bats are going to have to do some work to catch up. They're going to need at least 4 to win this game. Here's the pitch to Young First ball of the inning thrown by Blanco, up and out. Young popped out earlier. Here comes the pitch. Low and inside, ball 2. Young's fly out earlier was one that went straight up, basically. Caught by Yainer Diaz on the infield. Next pitch is low, ball 3. So after throwing all those strikes, Blanco suddenly has himself down 3-0 against Young. Here comes the 63rd pitch of the game for Blanco. Way too far inside. Ball 4. 2-out base runner. That's interesting. 2 3-pitch strikeouts, and then a 4-pitch walk and a home run. What a mix of what a mix of results, huh? Shoot says this team's hitting is embarrassing. You're right, it is. I agree. I've said before, maybe you heard me say it, but if you just take a look at the average, if you take the last 5 years of all these players on the Astros team, all the hitters, and you look at their average over those 5 seasons, and you take those batting averages and you substitute them with their current batting averages, the Astros would be doing much better right now. That's how pathetic they're hitting at the moment overall. So I agree with you. It's unacceptable. It's okay if you have a few guys slumping a little bit here and there, but if you have essentially the entire lineup playing subpar, that's a deeper problem. That's a systemic problem, and that needs to be fixed. Trey Sweeney's at the plate. The first pitch is on the way. He swings and misses on the 83-mile-per-hour changeup. 0-1 is the count. Sweeney had a walk his last at bat. Here comes the next pitch. Almost a foot outside on that changeup, and the count is even 1-1. Are we moving closer to 20 likes? Not yet. Still got 10, guys. I need 10 more likes to get to 20, so if you haven't liked the video, I'd appreciate you doing that now. Here comes the next pitch. 1-1 to Sweeney. Whoa, high and inside. Diaz tells Blanco, simmer down now. 2 outs, runner on first. Here comes the pitch. Bouncer to first. Walker grabs it, and he's just going to tag Sweeney. And that's out number 3. Nothing doing after that solo shot. The Blanco has a strange inning, has a couple of strikeouts, a ground out, and a walk, a 4-pitch walk, and a homer. 2 hits for the Tigers, 3 runs. Astros with 3 hits, no runs. No errors for either team. We're going into the bottom of the 4th. The home team, our Houston Astros, come up to the plate in just a moment, starting with Jose Altuve. Altuve batting in the second slot today behind Pena, followed by Yordan Alvarez and then Isaac Paredes. Altuve's 1 for 1 today after laying down a really great bunt on the second pitch. The very first pitch of the game, Altuve went after it and missed it. The second one, he put down a surprise bunt that couldn't have been much better. Just a couple of feet beyond the dirt into the grass. The catcher picked up and fired over, and he just barely beat it by less than half a step. He's currently batting .280. He has slipped a lot recently. His batting average essentially before was .380, and for a while it stayed consistently above .300, and it has slipped significantly recently. But with that bunt and getting on base this last at bat, let's see if they can give him some power, some energy, some encouragement, and get him going. tomorrow's game, I believe, is around the same time, if I'm not mistaken. Altuve takes the first pitch for ball 1. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Right in there, the knuckle curve, right in the middle of the plate. A swing, but a miss. And that evens the count, 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Altuve. 93 miles an hour, also right in the zone. Swing and a miss by Altuve. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. This one's skied out into left center field. The center fielder and the left fielder over. Left fielder's going to take it. Out number 1. Altuve flies out. Pretty interesting. They're showing how Alvarez overall is batting terribly with bases empty. Just 115. But he's batting really, really well with runners on. Not too far off from batting 400 with runners on. First pitch is in there to Alvarez for strike 1. He grounded out his last at bat. Here's the next pitch. This one's hit hard in the air. It looks like it's going to be a fly out to the third baseman right along the line. And it is. Alvarez goes down with that fly out. 2 down. The Astros quickly laying down for Flaherty. Isaac Paredes comes to the plate. First pitch to Isaac Paredes is a little high for ball 1. One and 0. Here's the pitch. Right in there, no question about that one. 91 mile per hour fastball. 1-1 is the count to Paredes. Here comes the pitch. Paredes swings at that one, but that knuckle curve, the bottom fell out of it. 77 miles an hour. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Paredes. In the dirt, taken for ball 2, and the count is now even. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Paredes. Here comes the pitch. In the dirt again, full count. Good at bat by Paredes to come back. Flaherty's pitches are rising. His pitch count is rising. Getting closer to 60. This one will be his 57th pitch of the game. Here it comes. Low and away, ball 4. Good take by Paredes. We have a 2-out base runner. Christian Walker comes to the plate, another guy who definitely has the ability to put it into the Crawford boxes. One of the things I'd like to point out, because of course I know as a fan you want to see your guy hit it out of the park, and you want them to hit home runs, you want them to score, etc., etc. But the thing is, I've noticed that a lot of Christian Walker's hits are crushed, just foul. He puts a lot of balls into the upper deck out in left field that are like 10 to 15 feet foul. So he's putting the ball out there. If he just had half of those, I think, just half of those as home runs, his home run count right now would be close to 10. So he has the ability to do it. He's just been swinging too early. First pitch to him is low and in the dirt, wide again. A few pitches like that from Flaherty so far this inning. 1-0 is the count. 2 outs. Paredes on first base. Walker steps back in. Flaherty comes set. And here's the 1-0 pitch. Fouled off. 95-mile-per-hour fastball in the upper part of the zone. Count is even, 1-1. Casey says he only swings hard as heck. I noticed that too, Christian Walker. Yeah, Casey, if you notice, a lot of Walker's at bats, he takes a lot of pitches. So he gets high in the count a lot, and then he winds up hitting it foul ball and then striking out a lot. He fouls that one off. 94 right in the upper inner part of the zone. 1-2 is the count. So he kind of reminds me in some ways of like Kyle Schwarber, because he strikes out a lot, but he also has power and he can hit home runs. But in between, he doesn't do too much. You know, that's his main thing. The only difference is Schwarber has much more luck with hitting the home runs than Walker has had. Typically. Here's a 1-2 pitch. That was hit hard out to right field. That one right there is another example. That one was very close. It looked like it had the distance to be a home run. Opposite field, but it was foul by about 15 to 20 feet. That's exactly what I'm talking about. None of the commentators are talking about that, but even though he didn't pull that ball, it had the distance. It was out there. 1-2 strikes again. Here comes the pitch from Flaherty. Low and away. Ball 2. Good take. 80-mile-per-hour knuckle curve. Casey says McCormick's another one that only swings hard as heck. Yeah, unfortunately for McCormick, it doesn't work out for him so much. I mean, it did yesterday. Or was it the mustache? Another pitch in the dirt, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So just like we were talking about just now, Walker gets high in the count again. I mean, this is what Walker does. Get high in the count, strike out, or crush the ball. Those are the only 3 things. Let's see what he does here. Fouls it off. 95-mile-per-hour fastball right in the middle of the plate. Paredes is off and running. He's going to have to stroll back to first base. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on first. Flaherty takes a really slow throw over to Paredes at first. Nothing serious, just to reset the pitch clock, it looks like. '65th pitch of the game for Flaherty coming up. This is hit hard to the Crawford boxes. It could be that home run. It is. It's a monster. It's over the Crawford boxes. Yep, that's it, guys. 2 runs on the board now for the Astros. As we're sitting here talking about how Christian Walker bats, it's either a blast or a strikeout, and he always gets high in the count. And sure enough, there it is. It's gone. 3-2. The game comes within 1 run. What a hit. That was a blast. The one he was waiting for. As soon as he hits it, he looks straight at the dugout. Good job, Christian Walker. 1 for 2 today, and that one was up onto the railroad tracks where the train is. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate and hits one to third, and he almost beats it out at first. Good hit by Yainer, but he just couldn't quite get there in time. And that'll be out number 3. That's it for the Astros this inning, but they put 2 on the board with their own home run. They're down by 1. We go into the top of the 5th, 3-2. What a blast by Christian Walker. Casey says the Astros overall are plugging in a fairly low, inconsistent batting average. If you want my opinion, I think the Yankees are going to be hard to beat this season. They're rocking and rolling. And he says, oh blank. Cheers, mate. Finally, the Astros on board. Yes, finally they're on the board. I haven't paid too much attention to the Yankees. Usually I know what's going on with the Yankees because a friend of mine is a big Yankees fan, and we talk a lot about those things, but he has been really silent recently about everything. We had a. There are two main things that we typically talk about. One of those is we talk about sports, particularly the Yankees and the Astros. The other thing that we talk about sometimes is just deeper things. We like to have discussions sometimes about deeper things, but I'm not sure what's going on right now. But I think after our last talk, he was a little unhappy about my response, and I'm not sure if he's just if there's something going on, because he's in China right now, and he hasn't responded to my last 3 messages over the past couple of weeks. So I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if something's wrong, or if he's just kind of ignoring me because of my comment. But what I said was acceptable. Essentially, he made a comment about something that I believe, and this is like a spiritual belief. I don't follow any religions anymore. Religions are man-made, and whenever you pick one, you have to follow their rules, because every religion is just a set of rules. Just each religion is a set of rules, even within a particular belief. For example, you can say Christianity, but Christianity is like an umbrella term that refers to many different denominations, and if you pick a denomination, you still have to adhere to those rules, and I don't like adhering to those rules. So I just seek my own way. Blanco's back on the mound. First pitch is in there for strike 1 against Dylan Dingler. 0-1 is the count. Here comes 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Beautiful curveball, low and away. Once again, Blanco goes right back to throwing strikes. Let's see if he can keep doing that. Three to 2. This game is a 1-run affair right now. 4 hits for the Astros, 2 for the Tigers. 70th pitch of the game coming up for Blanco against Dingler. Another slider low and away, but Dingler doesn't bite on that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the next pitch. Grounded at the plate, picked up by Diaz. Count remains 1-2. Well, essentially, what I was trying to say earlier is that a friend of mine, that my friend tried to tell me who he thinks I am, and I'm definitely not looking for somebody to do that. So I told him, I appreciate your opinion, but I wasn't asking for that, and he didn't like it, I think. But I think that's fair. You can't allow other people to tell you who you are, especially when it relates to your spiritual beliefs. It's your decision which way you want to follow. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. A little high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Casey says how to make Blanco feel a little bit better once he gets back on the mound. Well, throwing strikes and getting strikeouts, that's one way to do it. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and that's one of the ways to make him feel better. High fastball on a 2-2 count. Strike 3, 1 away. Good pitch. It's a long season. Yeah, we got a lot of baseball left to go. So we got May, June, July, August, September, and October. We got basically about 6 months of baseball. That's a long time. First one's in there for strike 1. Javier Baez at the plate. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fouls this one off, 0-2. Curveball on the outside corner. Casey says, if I had religion, it would be nutrition. I know it's selfish, but we live in modern times. You know what? I would applaud you for that. At the very least, that's 100% something that's worthwhile. Casey, I believe 100% what you just said is worthwhile. If your religion was nutrition, then more power to you. At least you're doing something constructive that's helping you, and if you can help yourself, then you can help others. Here comes the 0-2 count pitch in the dirt, low and away. 1-2. I think it's an easy sell to tell people that their nutrition matters. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. This one's hit hard left field. Is it going to be playable by Altuve? No, it's off the wall. He takes it on one hop, hands it in. He throws it to second. He puts the throw into second base. They call him safe. Dubon grabs the ball, can't quite get the tag on him. But what a play by Altuve. He gets it off the wall with his hand. It bounces off the wall. He snatches it with his hand and he throws it to second. Dubon puts the tag on, but they call him safe. Let's take another look and see how close this is. Altuve just played it in the right spot. That couldn't have been played better by Altuve. What a catch and throw. Dubon. Wow, he just barely missed the tag there. Man, that was close. Wow. That was a double, but man, what a great play by Jose Altuve. That's a shame he didn't get that. He deserved that out. First pitch is a strike to Kerry Carpenter. Carpenter had the 2-run home run his last at bat. One away, runner on second. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That one's hit into center field. McCormick is over. It looks like he's going to take it. Runner is not going to tag. He's going to stroll back to second base. That's 2 away. A play like that is just so disappointing because Altuve deserved to get that throw out. He deserved to get that out, but the runner just happened to slide at the right spot where Dubon could not easily get the tag on him. But a perfect play off the wall and a great throw. Man, that was close. 2 away. Gleyber Torres is at the plate. First pitch in there, another strike from Ronel Blanco, 85 in the top of the zone. He is throwing some serious strikes. 81 pitches now. Here comes the 82nd. Blanco is set. And the delivery. Woo, right on the outside edge, upper outside corner. That curveball. Tons of strikes coming from Blanco right now. 0-2 is the count with 2 outs, runner on second. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Try to tease him with the slider low and away, but he held up. Ball 1-2. Casey says, I take a vitamin powder that has 90 vitamins and minerals and in it. Plus, I take very expensive protein powder that has every essential amino. So yeah, man. It sounds like you're serious about that, and I'm all for it. Nobody can disagree or argue with you about that it's not good for you or unhealthy. That's good. Fly out to center field. Chas McCormick puts it away. Torres goes down for the 3rd out, and Blanco gets out of that without any extra damage. We go into the bottom of the 5th. Astros down by just 1 run, 3-2. 4 hits for the Stros, 3 for the Tigers. Casey says, yeah, that was a close play for sure. Yeah, it was. If you guys can see that throw by Altuve, he played it off the wall perfectly. Grabbed it with his hand, threw it straight to second. And it was just that tag where the runner slid and where Dubon put the tag. Just couldn't quite get him, but it was close. Man. Even here in Japan, occasionally you will have some of these people who follow certain religions. They are members of certain churches or temples or whatever. and they go out into the neighborhood. Sometimes they'll come to your house and knock on the door. Sometimes they'll just be standing near the stations, especially in the big cities. It's really bad in the big cities, but even in some of the smaller towns, I've had them approach me. For example, I live in a small town. Over the past year, I lived in a small town in Hiroshima, and sometimes I would get a knock at the door, or someone would ring my doorbell, and I would check, and it would be a lady who's basically advertising for her local temple, and they're trying to get me to come visit their temple. And when I was in Tokyo, I was constantly getting, I don't want to call it I kind of want to say accosted. It's not really assaulted or accosted, not really, but it just happened so often I got tired of it. And that was like the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Latter-day Saints constantly walking around wearing their suits and stuff, trying to get me to sit and talk with them. Cam Smith is at the plate. He had himself a double the last at bat. Takes the first pitch for a strike and the next one for a ball. It's 1-1. So yeah, you can't get away from the missionaries even in Japan. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ooh, just a little inside. That was a close take, right on the edge of the plate. But the umpire doesn't call many of those. He's got a really tight strike zone overall. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. That one was on the outside edge for strike 2. 2-2. Cam Smith has yet to swing the bat on this one. He got his double on the very first pitch of the last at bat. He goes after this one, fouls it off into the dugout. Shitoryu-kai. 2 balls and 2 strikes against Cam Smith. Here comes the pitch from Flaherty. Grounded in the hole, but snatched by the third baseman and tossed over to first for the out. Cam Smith grounds out for the first out of the bottom of the 5th. Casey says, I practiced, she told her, okay, karate for 3 years, age 14 to 17, very traditional Okinawan Japanese style karate. Yep. Dubon comes to the plate and he hits one straight down the line. A nice rip. Goes foul by about 5 feet. That would have been in the corner for a multi-base hit for sure. He's 5 for 10 versus Flaherty with a double in his career. Swing and a miss. That ball was in the dirt. Dubon is thinking big hit here. Swinging the bat consistently. 0 for 1 today, but he's trying to get the bat on the ball. Let's see if he can do it here with the 0-2 pitch. He does, but he fouls it off. Bounces harmlessly to the dugout. Here comes a pitch. Wow, this is hit towards the Crawford boxes, but it's going to be short. Thought for a second that was going to go, but it did not have any carry strength, and it's put away by Carpenter out in left field for out number 2. Not a bad stroke, just lacked the power it needed to get to the wall. 2 away, and that brings up the Tasmanian Devil. I think after this one, I'm going to have to make myself another cup of coffee. Here comes the pitch to Chaz. Right in the bottom part of the zone. Strike 1, 94 miles an hour. Good pitch. Chaz struck out his last at bat, but he had a good at bat, full count. Went after one in the zone, just couldn't get the bat on it, and went away shaking his head. He was a little upset about that. Astros have Steven Okert warming up in the bullpen. Brian King is also out there, but he hasn't started throwing anything yet. 92 miles an hour right in there. Strike 2. Come on, McCormick. Mr. Big Bopper number 2. Low and outside. That was in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 80th pitch of the game coming up for Flaherty in just a moment. It's on the way. Right in there, strike three. Chaz goes down looking, and that's it for the Astros in this inning. We'll go to the top of the sixth. Kind of a quiet game so far, 3-2. Each team getting their runs off homers. A 2-run shot and a solo for the Tigers, and a 2-run shot for the Astros. Christian Walker leading the way on that one. Astros winning the hit game 4-3. No errors for either team. And we'll be back from the break in just a moment. I'm going to grab myself a quick round 2 of coffee. Be right back. All right, well, it looks like Blanco's day is over. Okert is on the mound. His first pitch in there for a strike to Justin Henry Malloy, who is pinch hitting for Keith. 0-1. Here comes the pitch. That one's also in the zone, but fouled away. Same result, strike 2. Stephen Okert, where is your avatar? There it is. There we go. Boom. Next pitch, swing and a miss. 3-pitch strikeout. Low and inside on the slider, 81 miles per hour. Malloy goes down hacking. That wasn't just a swing, that was a hack. Man, he missed that one by a mile. That's the way I felt with that bad pitch from the pitching machine yesterday. I hacked at it, but it was such a terrible pitch. I think I missed it by a foot. 0-1. When you're in the batting cages, you just have a tendency to swing at everything, right? But it's not always a strike. 0-1 to Riley Green. Here's the pitch. High in the zone, fouled away. 0-2 just like that. 5 straight strikes from Okert. Riley Green with the solo home run for the Tigers today. One of the Tigers' 3 runs. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. And he hits this one hard to right field, but that's right at Cam Smith, who puts it away for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. Spencer Torkelson comes to the plate next. They're showing a Whataburger ad on the screen. How many of you guys say Waterburger? Raise your hand if you say Waterburger. I say Whataburger, but everybody I know back in my hometown says Waterburger. Check swing by Riley Green. Another strike for Okert. 2 strikeouts for Torkelson today. Let's make it an even 3. An even 3. No balls yet for Okert. Here's the next pitch. Check swing. Did he go? They say he did not, and that's the first ball. As soon as I mention it, right? I shouldn't have said anything. Casey says, Sensei Kobayashi, I have a fondness for Japanese culture for sure. Yeah. Casey, have you been over to Japan? Wow, look at this. This one was ripped out to left field. Altuve makes a running great catch right at his feet to put that away for the 3rd out. Backhanded running grab by Altuve. Yeah, the people who are giving him grief out in left field, let them eat that one. Altuve makes the great play for out number 3. And we go into the bottom of the 6th. Astros down 3-2. Close game. Not too many hits, but the hits have been big. All of the runs in the game coming off of homers. 2 two-run shots and a solo homer. All of the runs in the game. Due up for the Astros in just a moment. Jeremy Pena, the very top of the batting order, followed by Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez. This is a good opportunity for them to get something going, starting with the top of the order in the bottom of the 6th. 4 more innings of baseball. Oh, my water's ready. Let me go grab that coffee. All right, guys, Jeremy Pena is at the plate. 1 ground out, 1 strikeout today for Pena. Had a really good game yesterday. 0-1 right now. He takes the first pitch of our strike, but the second one he rifles into right field for a single. Line drive single for Pena. Good opposite field hit to get the leadoff strike for Jeremy Pena. Exactly between the first baseman and the second baseman. Nice line drive shot. Altuve comes to the plate with a runner on, no outs. Here comes the pitch. He goes after the first one and fouls it off. Is that going to be playable? No, it's into the crowd. Strike 1. .24 hits for Altuve this month. This is hit hard to the Crawford boxes. I think this one is way gone. It is gone. It's almost onto the railroad tracks. 2-run shot for Jose Altuve. That's my hero right there. Astros have the lead 4-3 on the 2-run shot by Jose Altuve. So happy to see him get that hit. And just like always, he runs around the bases with complete class. No flaunting, no celebrating. Just some gratitude in the end. He's very happy. He's got the smile on his face. That's my man right there. What a launch. That pitcher knew it as soon as it came off the bat. He looked straight down at the ground. Flaherty giving that one up to Altuve. It was a monster shot, too, almost on the railroad tracks, almost in the same spot as Christian Walker. Alvarez is at the plate. Altuve's pointing at the bullpen. Oh, that's hilarious. Jack Flaherty throwing a ball to Alvarez. The count's now 1-1. They're showing so much footage of Altuve right now. I can't focus on the at bat. Next pitch is high, ball 2 to Alvarez. Just 1 out, no runners on. Alvarez grounded out and popped out his last couple at bats. Crowd is still making a lot of racket right now. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Way inside, ball 3. Flaherty not wanting to put anything in that zone on Alvarez, apparently. Man, nothing puts me in a better mood than an Altuve home run. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Way outside. He doesn't even put it in the zone. Nowhere near competitive for Alvarez. And he'll get a walk. Man, they put that pitch on Altuve right in the zone, and he punished it. That's the power right there. Right off the Astros community sign. Daikin Park Astros community sign. How can you not like Jose Altuve? And that's going to be it for Jack Flaherty. He walks Alvarez. With 1 out, he's going to be facing Isaac Paredes, followed by Christian Walker, but they pull him out. They don't leave him in there. How do you like that? Casey says, nice hit. Heck yes, that was a nice hit. That was a blast. He and Walker both have just completely crushed the ball today. Astros with two-run home runs. Tigers with a 2-run shot and a solo shot. Every run in this game has come off of a home run. But the Astros are now up 4-3. Man. That's what I'm talking about right there. Jose Altuve. Oh, I just realized. I got a message from a friend this morning. I forgot to send him a message. I was so busy with this. Man. Everything in life seems better whenever Jose Altuve hits a home run, especially when he gives the Astros the lead or wins the game. I will tell you this, my favorite moment, even though the Astros went on to lose the series against the Rangers, my favorite moment that I've ever witnessed, okay, my favorite baseball moment that I've ever witnessed was Game 5. The Astros were playing the Rangers, and they were down. They had 2 runners on, and Altuve was batting, and he hit a home run just barely enough to get it out of the park. And they went on to win that game. There are a couple of reasons why that was important to me. I'll share that with you in just a second. Isaac Paredes is at the plate with Alvarez on first base. He takes that first pitch on the outside edge for strike 1. A rare strike call by the umpire on that outside edge. Brennan Hanafy is on the mound for the Tigers. He throws that next pitch low and away for ball 1. The count is even. Brennan Hanafy. Let's see if I can get his picture and put it in. Do they get Yordan? Wow. That ball was hit to second base. Paredes hit it right in the gap. Second baseman dove for it. Made a not so good throw to second base. It looked very close. They call Yordan out at second, but I'm not completely convinced. Yeah, he barely got him. Jordan is out at first. He didn't slide too well. Jordan not too good at sliding. He's hurt himself before on those. Gamarimasu. Christian Walker comes to the plate. 1 for 2 today with a 2-run homer. Brett is on first base with 2 outs. 96-mile-per-hour sinker taken for ball 1. Here comes a 1-0 pitch outside. Ball 2. Six hits now for the Astros. 2-0 pitch from Hannafy on the way. Walker takes that one for a strike. 95 miles an hour right on the outside edge. Two balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Low and away, ball 3. Pretty sure Hannafy not wanting to pitch to Christian Walker either. Oh, I do have Hannafy in my folder already. Here comes a 3-1 pitch. Grounded to short, should be an easy out. And they actually convert the double play, so Christian Walker grounds into a double play, and that'll be it for the Astros in this inning. But not before they tack on 2 more with another home run, courtesy of my personal hero, Jose Altuve. He is the man. 4-3 Astros with 6 hits. Tigers with 3 hits. No errors in this game so far. We move into the top of the 7th. Got 7 people following along right now. I appreciate you all being here. Thanks for liking the video. Thanks for subbing. Thanks for the comments. All the good vibes. Right now we've got a dozen likes on the live stream. My goal is always to get at least 10. That's just the minimal goal, because right now I have to rebuild my channel up. I'm not getting as much traffic these days, especially early in the season. But the more likes, the more traffic I get, and the more traffic I get, the more likes I get, and it works kind of like a cycle. So if you guys can get me up to 20 likes, that would be awesome. I've only been able to do that maybe twice so far this season. I just realized that I have the wrong stadium on the screen. It's actually at Daikin Park. There we go. Now it's updated. I didn't change it from the last series when they were at the Kauffman Stadium, but I just fixed that. Like I said earlier, sometimes I notice that there are some things that I haven't changed on the screen. I've got to change these elements one at a time, so I forget to do that. My bad. But it's all fixed now. We are not in Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium. We are at Daikin Park. Brian King is on the mound for the Astros here in the top of the 7th. J.C. Young is at the plate. Here comes the first pitch from King. 91-mile-per-hour fastball right in there for strike 1. Not a surprising pitch at all from King. He likes that fastball strike on the first pitch. 0-1. Here comes the pitch. Magnum P.I. gets the strike. A swing and a miss. Andy Ibanez actually is at the plate. He is pinch hitting for Young. Didn't realize that until just now. Here comes 0-2 pitch. In the dirt. Sweeper. The bottom fell out of it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. That's hit right to Dubon at second base. A lazy line drive. Easy out. One away. 13 innings for Brian King, a 2.08 ERA. 15 strikeouts in those 13 innings, only 3 walks. Trey Sweeney at the plate takes that first pitch just barely inside. Could have been a strike. It was right on the edge of the plate. But the umpire doesn't give those very easily to the pitchers most of this game. He's been calling a pretty tight strike zone. 79 miles an hour, just inside again. A couple inches outside of the zone. 2 balls and no strikes. Here comes the pitch from King in the dirt. Ball 3, 3-0. Just like that. He's far behind in the count. Let's see what he does here. King gets readjusted. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. High and inside, ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Sweeney. What can I do with this pour over bag? I need a trash can. I don't have one close by. There's a strike. Dylan Dingler comes to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. Speaking of strike, he has another one there, so it's 0-1. 10th pitch for King coming. Another strike. Foul tip caught by Diaz. 0-2. They're talking about McCullers knocking at the door of coming back into the Astros lineup. It'll be interesting to see how he returns and what he does. Fouled away by Dingler. The count remains 0-2. 4 minor league starts for McCullers so far. 12 innings, 12.2 with a 2.84 ERA. Strike 3, a swing and a miss on a 94 mile an hour fastball. Out number 2. King picks up his first strikeout. 2 away here in the top of the 7th. Espada is going to come out to the mound, and it looks like they're going to go to Abreu for Javier Baez. And that's it for Brian King. He does his job. He gets 2 outs. Leaves 1 base runner on. Brian Abreu will come in to face the next guy. Brian Abreu, the favored pitcher for this particular matchup. And we'll have a break here as they change the pitchers. And I didn't even get a chance to change to Brian King. So I will now change to Brian Abreu. I can do that while they're having the break. But first I want to get rid of this coffee bag. I'll be right back, guys. Yes. Okie dokie. Boom. We are back. I've got my coffee, and I'm changing the avatar on screen to Brian Abreu. Should be all good now. And we're back to the game. Did I make it in time? Yes. I did make it back in time. Bryan Abreu is on the rubber and ready to go. 2 outs with a runner on first. Facing Kerry Carpenter, it looks like. Yes, and here's the pitch. No, Javier Baez, I'm sorry. Swing and a foul tip miss. Strike one. 1 for 3 against Abreu, actually, in his career, with a home run. Here's the 0-1 pitch. 98 miles an hour. Outside. 1-1. One ball, one strike, 2 outs. Here comes the pitch from Abreu. Nope. He chooses instead to go to first base. Runner's back. Not a bad toss over to first. Pretty close. Here comes the next pitch to Baez. The runner's going to second. Diaz makes the throw, but it's way too high. Dubon's able to grab it and try to put a tag on, but he's safe. So that's going to be another steal. Last couple of stolen base attempts that Astros were able to throw them out, which was a big change since they gave up so many stolen bases up to that point. But he misses there. 2 balls and 1 strike to Baez. Here's the pitch. Blah, blah, blah. Can't speak right now. Fouled away. Strike 2. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Javier Baez. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Abreu. Strike 3, 98 mile per hour fastball up and in. Baez went around, couldn't get the bat on it. Abreu comes in and does exactly what he was meant to do, get that out. So Brian King and Bryan Abreu, the Bryans, come in and get the Astros through the 7th with no damage done. We go into the bottom of the 7th. Astros due up here in just a moment. Yainer Diaz, Cam Smith, and then Mauricio Dubon. Brendan Hanafy was in the game for the Tigers. Let's see here. Brendan Hanafy. I'm not sure if he's still going to be the one in the game, but I'm going to go ahead and change the icon because I never changed it in the last inning. There we go. So currently, that's who was in the game. I don't know if it still is, but we'll see. It's nice to see some actual Astros highlights in the MLB Baseball Zen instead of just constant Dodgers, Yankees, Cubs. Too much Ohtani, too much Dodgers. They should just change the MLB site to all Dodgers all the time because that's all they show. And they show a bunch of useless highlights. You know, Ohtani's first home run with Dodgers. Really? Who cares right now? We're almost in May of 2025. Who cares about Ohtani's first home run with the Dodgers? Who cares about Soto's first home run? Was it with the Mets? Who cares about that highlight? Why do we need to see it over and over again? Yainer Diaz strolls to the plate. He's going to be facing, it looks like Hanafy's still on the mound. Yeah, he only had 8 pitches last inning, so he's still on the mound. Here's the first pitch to Diaz. Right in there, 95 mile per hour strike. Strikeout and a ground out today for Yainer, batting 165, so waiting for him to do something this year. Low in the zone, another fastball, strike 2. Yiner calls timeout. He steps out of the box. You know, if you get 2 strikes on you, got to call a timeout to get yourself together and get ready. That means you weren't ready when you stepped into the box. You should have been ready for that. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Way outside and in the dirt. Ball 1. You're ready or you're not. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Diaz. Here comes the pitch. Yiner hits it straight to the shortstop, a little short hop. He makes a bad throw to first base. It's way high. The first baseman has to come off the bag and jump for it. Yiner's going to be safe. More than likely will go down as a throwing error. The short hop maybe messed him up a little bit. Yiner did hustle down to first base. I think he spent a little bit too much time looking at the play, but Cam Smith... Oh, Cam Smith hits it to shortstop, and the throw is not there. Nobody's there to catch the throw. Cam Smith gets to second base. Yiner goes to third. That should have been a double play. Cam Smith hit the ball to the shortstop. He tossed to the second baseman to go for the double play. He wasn't there. The ball went out into right field all the way over to the wall into foul territory. Where did that throw go? It was such a bad throw. 2 throwing errors in a row by the shortstop for the Tigers. Diaz runs over to third. Cam Smith heads to second base. We have runners on second and third with no outs. 2 errors back to back on Sweeney. Holy cow. Poor guy. Good for the Stros. That pitch is in there on Mauricio Dubon for strike 1. Man. 2 errors in back-to-back plays. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Dubon hits the center field. Is it going to get down? Yes, it is. It's going to drop. Cam Smith is around. He read that like it was perfect. Cam Smith almost caught up to Yiner Diaz. He even beats Yiner into the dugout. The Astros scored 2 runs on Dubon's single right up the middle. What a read by Cam Smith. Holy cow. A single right into center field by Dubon. And Cam Smith just put his head down and ran. He almost caught Diaz at the plate. He was just a few steps behind him. Diaz was waiting to see if that ball was going to drop, and Cam Smith had his head down running, and he passed Diaz to go into the dugout. Wow. 6-3 Astros. Man, that was awesome. Sprint speed leaders in the American League right now. Jeremy Pena and Cam Smith are number 3 and number 4. Holy cow. What a fun play that was. Chas McCormick comes to the plate with Mauricio Dubon on first base and still no outs. There comes the next pitch from Hannafy. McCormick shows bunt but pulls back for ball 1. Man, what an exciting inning. 6-3, 7 hits for the Astros. Here comes the next pitch from Hannafy. Low in the zone but taken for strike 1. 1-1 is the count. Only 2 runs on the board right now, but this inning has been so exciting. A little challenging to call these strange plays, the errors and the hits, the base running. It's all been great. Throw over to first base. Dubon is back. The crowd boos again. Stop booing. One ball, 1 strike to McCormick. Here comes a pitch to the Tasmanian Devil. That's low and away for ball 2. Good take. Let's see if I've got any messages here. 2-0. Swing and a miss, 95. Low and inside, good pitch there. Chaz went after it, couldn't get it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Astros have Caleb Ort warming up in the bullpen, actually. Here's the pitch. McCormick fouls it off at the plate. 95, right in the middle of the zone. Casey says, nice, Astros rolling now. Yeah, they've got 2 runs in 3 different innings. The fourth, the 6th, and now the 7th. Opportunity for more with a runner on and no outs. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Chaz McCormick. 21st pitch of the game for Hannafy on the way. It's going to be strike 3. Chaz knows it. He walks away quietly. Strikes out looking. 1 away. Hannafy finally gets himself an out. Top of the lineup. Back at the plate, Jeremy Pena had a single his last at bat. Nice line drive shot. Here comes the next pitch. Right in there, 95 in the middle of the zone. Strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Pena. That's hit hard. It's going to be into left field all the way to the wall. Pena's going to have himself an extra base hit. Mauricio's being waved. No, he's stopping at third. Another hit for Pena, and he's saying, feed me. He goes to second. 2 hits, 2 errors in this inning. Astros threatening more runs on the board, and Hinch is going to go out to the mound. Looks like that's going to be it for Hannafy. With Jose Altuve due up, Jose already with a 2-run bomb and a bunt single in this game. They're not going to let Hannafy pitch to Altuve. They're going to bring in another pitcher. Casey says, let's not forget the Tigers took out Houston in the playoffs last season. That's absolutely right. It's one of the things I was thinking about earlier is how much I really wanted the Astros to sweep this series just to get the Tigers back. A little revenge, you know. The Astros really should have won that series, but it's one of those things where, and you'd probably agree with me, the Astros, the Tigers didn't win that series versus the Astros. The Astros lost that series. It was their series to win, and they gave it away. They just laid down and gave it away. There was no reason for them to lose to the Tigers unless their heart wasn't in it, and it wasn't. But they're looking pretty good today. They finally woke up. 8 hits for the Astros so far in this game. 6 runs. 3 hits for the Tigers and 3 runs. This is the way that it should have looked during that series last year. Astros winning 6-3. That's what it should have looked like. Let's see if they've got an update on who the Tigers pitcher is. Lee. Chase Lee, it looks like. Let's see if I've got Lee in my folder. No, I don't, but I can remedy that real quick. Chase Lee. Chase Lee. If you say it fast, it sounds funny. Chase Lee. Chase Lee. Hey, Chase Lee. All right. There we go. JP and me. Altuve's at the plate. Strike 1, he takes that one for a strike. Sidearm delivery from Lee, and it's on the way. That one's way outside for a ball. The count's even 1-1. Altuve batting just .222 with runners in scoring position this year. He's batting better when the bases are empty, but it kind of makes sense though, considering how he's usually the leadoff batter. Good take by Altuve. That pitch is outside for ball 2. 2-1. 2-1 on Altuve. Come on, hero. Oh, that's just a little off the plate, but called strike 2. Suddenly the umpire likes the outside pitch. Most months with 25 plus hits, Altuve's third on that list for the Astros. He's only 12 behind the number 1 guy. He hits this one to the second baseman. He only has one play at first base, and it's going to score Dubon. So a sacrifice hit by Altuve. Second baseman had to dive for it to get it. So Altuve does get out, but perfectly struck to get the sacrifice run. The baseball curved off of that grass. Second baseman went one direction and he had to dive back the other way, but just a good placement by Altuve. Oh, there's another hit out in the right field. The very next batter, Yordan Alvarez with a single. Pena scores easily. The Astros with another run on the board. 8-3 Astros. 9 hits now for the Stros. Yordan on first base. So Altuve with the infield sacrifice to score Dubon. Yordan wastes no time on the very first pitch from Chase Lee. Drives in Pena from third. 8-3 Astros. 4 runs on the board this inning. Man, the Astros really are rolling right now. Excuse me, I'm enjoying this game and my coffee a little too much. Isai Paredes is at the plate. First pitch to him is blown away for ball 1. Good take. That's right. Put a bruising on these Tigers. Teach them a lesson. Here's the pitch. On that outside edge, blown away, but he catches the corner for strike 1. Barely. Excuse me. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. That's hit hard to right field. Is it going to get down? He dives for it. It's no catch. It's in the grass. They think that he caught it, but everybody's still running. DeCenzo scores. DeCenzo was pinch hitting for Yordan Alvarez, and he never stopped running. That ball was not ruled a catch. It was hit out into right field. The right fielder dove after it. Oh, okay. They're showing the replay, and it looks like it is a catch. Yeah, that's going to be it for this inning, guys. They didn't call it a catch. They ruled that it was down, but it was a great diving catch by the right fielder. He knew it was a catch, and he just came walking in like no problem. But they had to take a look at it on the replay to make sure that it was a catch. DeCenzo was pinch running for Yordan Alvarez at first, and he just ran the whole time. He never stopped. He went all the way home. It would have been 9-3 Astros. They actually have the score on the screen right now as 9-3. But I'm pretty sure they're going to overturn that, because it looked like it was in his glove and never touched the ground, so we'll see. It's overturned. It's an out, and that's going to be it for the Astros this inning. End of the 7th, but the Astros come away with 4 runs, and are leading this game 8-3. That was almost another hit and score for the Astros, but a great catch by the right fielder to save it. And we go into the top of the 8th inning. Man, what an inning. What an inning. 9 hits now for the Astros, 8 runs. 3 hits for the Tigers, 3 runs. 2 errors in that inning, and that's what really got the inning going for the Stros. 2 errors back to back for the same guy, the shortstop. Casey says, great description. 2 games with 7+ scoreless innings for Houston. Yeah, that's right. Man, that's the thing. I've been saying this entire time. The way the Astros pitching has been locked down, of course, teams are going to get over on them sometimes. But when you look at their body of work, I really do see that they are the best in the MLB. So the problem isn't with the starting pitching or the relief pitching. Let's take a look at the batting. And like I've said before, if the Astros bats are just average, okay, if they're batting their average, okay, their average, then they win most of their games. Because the MLB average, I believe, is to get 4 runs per game. If the Astros were averaging 4 runs a game, at least, then they would be winning most of their games. But they can't be having these games where they get nothing, or 1 run, or 2 runs, or even just 3 runs. They've really got to start providing more run support for their pitchers, because they can't just ride their pitchers all the way through the World Series. They can't do that. They've got to score some runs. Caleb Ward is in the game for the Astros now. The first pitch in there, 96 miles an hour against Kerry Carpenter, strike 1. Caleb Ward. Oh, time to change the picture again on the screen. Where is his picture? Caleb Ort. I know that I must have an updated picture of Ort on the screen, because this one is old. Let me see if I've got a new picture of him. 1-1 is the count after that ball. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Hit high in the air. That one was right in the middle of the zone. Paredes is over just in foul territory to put it away for out number 1. Good start to the inning. There absolutely must be a new picture of Caleb Ward for the Astros. Yep, I knew there was. There we go. First pitch to Gleyber Torres. Misses the mark for ball 1. 1-0. Here comes the pitch from Ort. 82 miles an hour, just a little low, ball 2. And I'm going to change this out. His picture. There we go, to the portrait picture. That pitch is a little wide. Ball 3, 3-0. Okay, boom, got it updated. 3 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch from Ort. Low and outside, 4 straight pitches for a walk. Tigers are going to have a 1-out base runner on here in the top of the 8th. Looks like some of the crowd have decided to leave. This is the kind of fan that my brother is. He's a Dodgers, Lakers, Cowboys fan. I've been to games with him, and it annoys me because I pay good money to watch these games when I'm able to go to see them live. And whenever our team is up, when it starts to get to maybe about the 75% mark of the game, and if they're up, he wants to leave. I don't want to leave. I want to stay all the way through the end of the game. 0-1 is the count. This one's hit high in the air on the second pitch, all the way out to center field. McCormick is back on the track, and he puts it away for out number 2. Torres will go back to first base. He does not advance. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm going to pay money and take the time to go to a game that lasts 3 hours, I'm going to go there early. I'm going to relax. I'm going to have something to drink. I'm going to have some food. I'm going to watch the game from beginning to end. I'm going to take my time to leave. I'm not going to try to rush and beat the traffic. I don't care. I plan for the whole day to be relaxing. Justin Henry Malloy is at the plate. Or is that Riley Green? No, that's Riley Green. Malloy was the one who just flew out. I thought that was Green. 1-0 with that pitch, low and away. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Just a little low and outside. Clipped the bottom right corner of the zone, but the umpire laid off, not surprisingly. But anyway, how about you guys? How do you feel about it when you go to a game? Like right now, the Astros are up 8-3 in the 8th inning. Would you leave right now or stay and watch the rest of the game? 3 balls and no strikes. Another 3-0 count for Ort. Second time he's done that. First batter, he did that too, was the last one. Oh, not the previous batter, but the batter before that. 4-pitch walk. Now he's got 3 straight pitches for balls. Here comes the 3-0. 95 miles an hour right in there for strike 1, 3-1. Just need 1 out to get out of this inning and move into the 9th. Well, the Astros will have 1 more bat this inning, but yeah, there we go. 3-1. Here's the pitch. This one's hit hard into left field all the way to the wall. Is that gone? Yep, 2-run home run. So Ort, I guess, trying to be safe and not walk another batter, he throws it right in the middle of the zone, and Riley Green hits it into the Crawford boxes on the left side, and that's going to give the Tigers 8-5. Fastball right in the middle of the zone. That ball had absolutely 0 movement on it. It came in just a couple inches above the knees, right in the middle of the zone. 0 movement. Hit opposite field home run to the Crawford boxes. The 4th hit of the game for the Tigers. And now the Astros have a 3-run lead, 8-5. Josh Miller comes out to the mound, the pitching coach, to have a little discussion with Ort. Now Josh Hader is warming up in the bullpen. It's sad that they even had to use Hader in a situation like this, being up by 5 runs. They could have given him a break and saved him for later. But it is what it is. Spencer Torkelson comes to the plate with 2 outs, no runners on. Here's the first pitch from Ort. Right in there. 96 mile per hour fastball. Strike 1. Here's the pitch. A little high and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. To Torque. Can you imagine having a family named Torque? Torque. That'd be a cool name for a baseball player, wouldn't it? Maybe a pitcher who was also a good hitter, who could hit the ball hard and pitch hard. 2 balls and 1 strike with that delivery. That one misses the mark. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Ort. Ort to Torque. Wow, that was generous. That's the first generous call from the umpire I've seen. It was outside by more than an inch, and he called it a strike. Don't see those very often. I haven't seen those often in this game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the Ort Torque pitch. Woo, just a little high and outside. We have ourselves a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ort trying to get out of this inning and move it into the 9th. Here comes the pitch. Hit hard but foul. Count remains 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3. 3 balls, 3 strikes. Swing and a miss on a sweeper on the inside. A completely different pitch. He threw something completely different. Fooled him. And got the out. Good call there by Ort to get that swing and miss. So he gives up the 2-run shot, but the Astros are still up 8-5. We go into the bottom of the 8th. I'm interested to see if the Astros can get those runs back. Christian Walker is due up, followed by Yainer Diaz and then Cam Smith. I will go ahead and change the pitcher for the Astros to Josh Hader. I'm pretty confident that that's who they're going to have in the game in just a moment. Josh Hader. There we go. I can hear the crows outside. I don't know if you guys can hear them through the microphone, but I can hear them outside. Crows all over Japan. Is there going to be a pitching change? I would imagine so. Yes, they do. Holton. Tyler Holton is in the game for the Tigers. I have his picture on screen, so I'll put that in. All right, there we go. Left-hander in the game now. 12.2 innings pitched with a 2.84 ERA, 14 strikeouts, 4 walks. He's facing Christian Walker, who's 1 for 3 today with a 2-run blast to the railroad tracks over the Crawford boxes. Here comes the pitch. He grounds this one to third. It's going to be a tough play for the third baseman. He barely is able to throw him out for out number 1. 1 swing, 1 out. Walker hacked at it pretty hard, but he's pretty upset with himself there. Yainer Diaz was able to reach on an error last inning. Here's the first pitch to him. Swing and a miss, 88-mile-per-hour cutter right on the inside part of the plate. 0-1. Let's see if the Astros can get a nice even 10 hits in this game. This one's hit up the middle, and the answer to that question is yes. Yainer Diaz just sticks the bat out there and gets himself a nice single to left field. And there we go. 10 hits now for the Astros this game as soon as I ask for it. Thank you, Yainer Diaz, for fulfilling my order. 1 out base runner on first base for Cam Smith. Cam Smith having a good day today. He reached on an error his last at bat. He had a double and some excellent base running. Scored an extra run for the Astros last inning. First pitch to him is outside and low at 89-mile-an-hour cutter. 1-0 is the count. Here's the pitch. Fouled away. 89 miles an hour right in the zone. Sails off into the crowd on the opposite field first base side. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cam Smith. Here's a pitch. Hit to center field. It looks like it's going to be playable. Second baseman floats out and gets it. Out number 2. Torres puts it away. Mauricio Dubon comes to the plate. Diaz on first with 2 outs. That's interesting. A couple of years ago, Dubon actually had a homer his first time facing Holton. Here comes the pitch to Dubon. In the dirt for ball 1. 90 miles per hour. Good take by Dubon. Dubon does have a hit today and an RBI, contributing to the team right now. Here's the pitch. He fouls that one off inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. How many Astros have hits and who don't? Okay, DeCenzo is pinch running. He hasn't had a chance to hit yet. Perez doesn't. No, he has a hit. McCormick is the only one with a hit in the lineup right now. Dubon grounds that one to the pitcher. He throws over to first for out number 3. No big deal there. Out number 3. So we go into the top of the 9th. Astros are 3 outs away from winning this one. 8-5 over the Tigers. 10 hits for the Astros. 4 hits for the Tigers. 2 errors, and those were costly. Very costly errors, leading to a 4-run inning for the Astros. If not for those errors, that inning might have gone differently for them. But as it stands, the Astros capitalized and tacked on even more runs. So now they're up by 3. If that inning had been wiped out, they would actually be down by 1. So very important, those 2 errors. I would imagine that the Tigers' shortstop is going to be having to work hard to put that past him. He's made a significant amount of errors from what I heard, and those back-to-back errors, they're hurting his case for his fielding. Man, no Gold Glove on the horizon for him. But players can always come back. After the cheating scandal year for the Astros, there was so much hate for Altuve, even though he didn't do anything wrong. It really got to him. And he had a terrible rebound, a terrible season. He wasn't able to rebound. Was doing terribly in the field, wasn't doing good at the plate. But he came back strong. He got over it. The crowd continues to boo him. But he's the best player in baseball. But not for the reasons that people think. He's not like Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani or these guys. He's a completely different type of person overall. Those guys can't touch Altuve overall as a complete package. On and off the field, none of those players are as great as Altuve. And that's just the fact. That's not my opinion. That's the fact. Hader is on the mound. 13 innings pitched this season. .69 ERA. 17 strikeouts in those 13 innings and only 3 walks. He's still warming up. That's his last warm-up pitch. Looks like he's ready to go. It seems that Andy Ibanez is due up. Hader steps up onto the rubber. Looks like he's ready to go. He quickly gets the first pitch, and here it comes. Ibanez, I'm saying his name wrong. I'm saying Ibanez. I'm thinking of the guitars, but Ibanez takes that one outside for a ball. 1-0 is the count. Here comes the next pitch from Hader. Typically, Hader moves pretty quickly. Ripped down the line, just foul. Could have been an extra base hit there. Came around too early on it. 1-1 is the count. Got about a Dager's buzzing is what I was about to say. A baker's dozen watching the game right now on my live stream. Thank you for being here. Swing and a miss. 81 mile per hour slider from Hader. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Ibanez. Ibanez, rather. Here comes a pitch from Hader. Swing and hit into right field. It looks like that's not Cam Smith. They've got McCormick over there right now. He floats over and grabs it for out number 1. No problem. Ibanez flies out. 2 outs away from winning the first game of this series at home against the Tigers and their second game in a row. Trey Sweeney comes to the plate, a left-handed batter facing Hader. Hader able to put Ibanez away in 4 pitches. Couple of walks today for Sweeney. Here's the pitch. 95, right in the top outer part of the zone. Good placement. Strike one. Here comes the 0-1 delivery. Right in there. 95. I kid you not, in the exact center of the plate. Sweeney swings. Trey swingy. But no hitty. 0-2. The crowd is cheering, looking for a strikeout here. Sweeney is the one responsible for the back-to-back errors that started the Astros' big inning in the 7th. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Hader. Strike three. 3-pitch strikeout on Sweeney. Feel sorry for the guy. Can't help but feel sorry for him. 2 big errors. And now a 3-pitch strikeout to add to it. Just couldn't get the bat on it. Swung underneath it by a good few inches. Couldn't handle the heat from Hader. Josh Hader. 7 pitches now. 6 of those strikes for Hader. Here comes the next one to Dingler. And there's another strike. 95 up and in. Man, Hader just burning through these guys right now. 7 of his 8 pitches are strikes. 0-1. Here comes the pitch. Dingler hits that one foul. Back to the back screen, and that's another strike. 0-2. 1 strike away from putting this one in the bag, guys. Just like that. The Astros 8-5. The crowd comes to their feet. They're like, come on, let's do this. Josh Hader. Let's see what he throws here. This is his 10th pitch of the inning. Here it comes. That's hit hard to left center field. Myers is over. It's going to be off the wall. No, Myers tries to catch it. It bounces off his glove and it goes to the wall. Was going to be a great catch by Myers, but it bounced off his glove and went to the wall. He gave it his best effort. At first I thought it was going to be off the wall. Then Myers got to it on the run, and it bounced off his glove right before he got to the wall. How close was that? That was unfortunate. Could have been a great end to the game. Diaz is out to the mound now. They are talking about the next batter, Javier Baez. Runner on second with 2 outs. Man, that was an unfortunate turn of events. Bounced off his glove and hit the wall. Man, that was close. First pitch to Baez is on the way. This is grounded foul down the first baseline. Strike one. 83-mile-per-hour slider. Baez having a little chit-chat with Diaz about something. Laughing and smiling. Not sure what he's talking about. Baez doesn't do as well against left-handers as he does against right-handers. Hader, of course, a left-hander himself. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Ooh, grounded into the leg of Baez. He swings at it, and he nails his foot. Hinch is immediately out to go check on him. Baez is down on the ground. Oh, off of his knee. He fouled it right off of his back leg, right off of his knee. He immediately went down to the ground. They pull him up. The trainer is out. They get him walking. He's hobbling around. Baez is shaking his leg, moving it around, flexing it. Crowd cheers a little bit now that he's up. That's nice. A little bit of sportsmanship from the Astros fans. Don't like to see anybody get injured. The count as it stands right now is 0-2 with 2 outs. Runner on second. Once again, Hader just one strike away from ending this game. Let's see if he can do it right here. 5 hits now for the Tigers. Half the total of the Astros hits. The Astros have 10. In case you can't do that math. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Baez is back up and ready to go. Here it comes. In the dirt. Ball 2. Oh, I'm sorry, ball 1. 1 and 2. One ball, 2 strike with 2 outs. Here comes the pitch from Hader. Baez goes after it in the dirt. Misses it completely. Yiner tags him. That's going to be it. A strikeout for Hader to end this game. The Tigers have the best record in the American League, and they go down to the Houston Astros. So the Astros rip through the Padres, arguably the best team in the NL, and now they take this first game decisively from the best team in the AL, shutting them out. Well, not shutting them out, but shutting them down 8-5. Good game all around. The Astros do wind up giving back a little bit later on in the game in the 8th inning with a couple of runs. But the hitters actually get the job done today and put 10 on the board to lift the Astros to win this game. How do you like that? How do you like those apples? Would you like me to climb the tree, pick one for you? Let's take a quick look at the game recap, and then we'll be out of here. I will let you know about tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's game, it's unclear whether or not for sure I'll be able to call that game because of personal matters. I really want to be here, but unfortunately, because of personal matters, I am in Kagoshima, Japan. It's a city in the southwest area of Japan. But the reason I'm here is to visit with a friend of mine who is an important part of my life right now. She started business school recently, and I just came to spend some time relaxing here and to visit with her. And tomorrow is her birthday. And not only that, it's a special holiday. She's from Vietnam, and tomorrow is a holiday in Vietnam. And it happens to fall on her birthday, and it's a 50th anniversary holiday too. So it's a really big day for her, and she's not able to go back and be with her family or visit them. So I decided to stay here for an extra day just to be here with her. If I call that game, it's going to take some time away from her. So I believe that I will not call the game tomorrow, just so I can spend the morning with her. And she does have work. She's going to be very busy tomorrow. So the only real opportunity I have to be with her is either going to be really early in the morning for breakfast, or perhaps just a short time prior to her work in the evening. And other than that, it's just really late at night. So I think the best opportunity is in the morning. Unfortunately, the Astros game is at the same time. So I'm going to take off tomorrow for Game 2. And then I plan to be back for Game 3 if possible. But Game 3 is completely different. Game 3 is going to be right in the middle of the night, I believe. That game is at 3 o'clock in the morning for me. And it's unclear if I'm going to be able to get to that game because I'm going to be traveling back. So I'm just letting you know right now, if you don't see me for Game 2, that's reasonable. I won't be here tomorrow for Game 2. If you don't see me for Game 3, it's just because of timing for me traveling back home to Hiroshima. But a quick recap of today's game. The Tigers got on the board first when Carpenter homered to left. 2-0 in the top of the third, the Tigers. In the top of the fourth, Green hit a solo homer to left field. 3-0 Tigers. But from that point on, the Astros started scoring a lot consistently. In the bottom of the fourth, Walker homered to left center field. 2-run shot. 2-3 Astros. In the sixth inning, my hero, Jose Altuve, homered to left center field, scoring Pena, giving the Astros the lead 4-3. From that point on, the Astros would hold on to the lead. In the bottom of the 7th, Dubon singled to center, scoring Diaz and Smith. Great base running by Cam Smith to score that extra run, giving the Astros the 6-3 lead. In the bottom of the 7th, Altuve grounded out to second base, but it was a nice sacrifice, scoring another run. So 3 RBI day for Altuve, 7-3 the Astros in the bottom of the 7th. Again in the bottom of the 7th, Alvarez had a sharp single on the very first pitch to right field, scoring Pena from third base easily. 8-3 Astros, and they would need those extra insurance runs because they gave up another 2-run homer to Green. Green today with 2 home runs, a solo home run and a 2-run homer, putting up 3 of the 5 runs for the Tigers, bringing them close, 8-5, but the game would end right there. That was the final score, 8-5. Steven Ogret actually gets the win today. No decision for Ronel Blanco, unfortunately. And Josh Hader with his 8th save of the season. Flaherty winds up getting the loss. He's 1-3 for the season. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. I just wanted to say thank you very much once again for all of the likes, the subs, the shares, etc., etc., etc. It seems that I wound up with about 14 likes on the live stream. That's more than my minimal goal. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The goal that I'm trying to get to for my live streams right now, my main goal is to get to 20 consistently. And of course, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link. If you can see that, you can see that on the screen. buymeacoffee.com/Akia. Akia is a Japanese word. It just means unoccupied house or empty house. There are a couple of reasons for that. But if you follow that link, you'll see some pictures there that show my house, my old house here in Japan. And you could buy me a link. You can buy me a coffee if you follow that link. Or you can use my PayPal link. A little bit of donation to help me out because right now I'm not working. I'm just seeing to my health. I'm still fighting this cancer tumor, and recently my health insurance was revoked here in Japan, so I'm not allowed to work for anyone, but I'm also not afforded health insurance right now. So I have absolutely 0 coverage, and I am in the process of stopping my medication. It's just to let you guys know. I've been taking some very expensive cancer medication, and maybe for about the past year or so, 13 months, and it has helped me a lot, but because the cost is so high without insurance, and also since I'm not able to work and pay for it, it's just something that I have to stop right now. I'm looking for alternatives, but any donations you make to my channel would definitely help me out because they would support me in helping to make myself better, take care of myself, get myself back to full strength so I can start working again. But for now, this is one of the things I can do. I can't call the Astros games because I have the schedule for it. I hope you continue to support me and be here for the games. And that's it for today. Thank you for listening to all my jibber jabber. The Astros win 8-5. My personal hero had a great game with 3 RBIs and a homer. And I'm happy about that. It puts me in a good mood for the day. And there's only one thing left to say, and I think you already know what that is, and that is Geaux Stros. See you guys next